Hello agents, and welcome back to another daily episode of Targeted Loot Today, your daily farming guide for Monday, January 18th. In this series, we cover a lot. We got the Targeted Loot map, Dark Zone exclusives, highlights for the weekly vendor resets, and build and farming suggestions as well. This is Shadow Gaming, and if you're new to the channel and enjoy this video, consider pressing the thumbs up and subscribe buttons below, and if you didn't, a thumbs down. And remember to hit those bell notification icons to all so you never miss a daily morning video, and comment below if you have any questions or feedback whatsoever. Otherwise, let's get this video started. Alright agents, so starting off with the Dark Zones and of course vendor reset highlights, which are always in that big bottom left overlay that pops up right now, and remember that resets tomorrow. And of course my recommendations like always was DZ South, Ferocious Calm chest piece with perfect overwatch. And in DZ East, you got the Claws Out holster. Both of them are 152 DZ resources. Now over here in DZ West, normally I only recommend Dark Zone exclusives, but I've had a few people mention that they still might farm the DZ for these things. So for Douglas and Harding, the named item you're looking for is the Punch Drunk with 20% headshot damage baked into it. And that goes great with all high-end headshot damage builds, you know, the non-aces and 8s ones. Next up in DZ South, we got Golan gear. Once again, there is no Dark Zone exclusive, but there is something really good you could grab, you know, and farm for today. And that's going to be the Anarchist Cookbook with Perfect Wicked. Definitely worth grinding for, but maybe wait, you know, just like Douglas and Harding, for the Golan gear to be targeted loot outside of the Dark Zone. And also, I want to clear up the misconception about the Hunter Killer chest piece with Perfect Intimidate. Always remember that you can only get that from killing all the hunters in the NYC map, and then the rolls on it, you know, you just have to hope that Cassie has good rolls on them. When she resets it every week, it'll join Cassie's, you know, vendor after you unlock it. Now, finally, over here in DZ East, ironically, we have Wyvern Wear, so if you're looking for the Claws Out holster, you can farm for it today in DZ East. But of course, ironically, in DZ East vendor, there is a Claws Out holster, so you could either buy it or farm for it. It just depends on, you know, what you need and the rolls you want on it. Otherwise, let's go check out the north side now. Alright agents, north side targeted loot highlights. Starting off with the invaded missions, we got Camp White Oak, DCD Headquarters, Jefferson Trade Center, Manning National Zoo, and then Tidal Basin Stronghold. Alright guys, back to the north side. For my first mech recommendation, I would definitely go with Hunter's Fury at Coney Island Ballpark today. It's my favorite gear set, possibly. Definitely for SMG and shotguns, and I'll put my favorite build in the top right card now. And the bottom left overlay, that's 4 pieces of Hunter's Fury, the Death Grip gloves, and the Memento backpack. And I always run that with the Dark Winter, and then of course the Scorpio, 3 armor cores and 4 weapon cores. And if you don't have the Dark Winter, you could get a Vector and put Killer on it. Next up, we got Hana Yu at Coney Island Amusement Park. You could farm for the Force Multiplier backpack with Perfect Combined Arms. Definitely worth picking up for that extra 30% skill damage every 3 seconds you land a shot on an NPC. Just make sure to get it rolled with skill haste and skill damage. And then lastly, we got Petrov over here at Manning National Zoo, so you guys can farm for the Contractor's Gloves with 8% damage to armor, which is amazing on any LMG build. Or if you're just stacking damage to armor with the Lady Death, ARs, or, you know, 2-piece Walker Harrison Co. And then of course Kinley College is closed and some of you pick your own targeted loot, so let's go check out the west and east sides now. Alright agents, west side targeted loot highlights. Starting off with the gear sets, we got aces and 8s up here at west end area. So of course I always recommend 3 pieces of aces and 8s, and then 2 pieces of Aralda Holding, a backpack with Vigilance or Composure, and then the Chain Killer chest piece. I always run that with the Mantis as the primary, the secondary being the Ekim's long stick with Perfect Ranger. Next up, we got Hardwire at Downtown West. I do not recommend this. I now recommend just picking up Rigger instead. That's definitely worth it. And then if you're looking for the best turret and drone build, I'll put in the top right card now, at least my favorite and best turret and drone build. Now definitely farm this today if you're trying to put that together. It's 3 pieces of Empress, 2 pieces of Hana Yu, and then of course the Waveform holster with kinetic momentum on the chest piece and the Force Multiplier backpack. Next up for gear sets, we got Negotiator's Dilemma, Tidal Basin. I'll put my double LMG build in the top right card now, 4 pieces of Negotiator's Dilemma. And then of course the Coyote's Mask, and I run either the Contractor's Gloves or 1 piece of Grupo Sombro gloves. And I always run that with the Pestilence or Bullet King. Or if you use the Grupo Sombro gloves, you could use ARs, SMGs. You know, it goes great with all 3 weapon archetypes. And then the last 2 we got is Future Initiative at Lincoln Memorial and Foundry over here at DARPA Research Labs. Always remember that the chest and backpack are Iron Horse raid exclusive for both of these gear sets. Otherwise, what I would do for for Future Initiative is get an Alp Summit chest piece with Empathetic Resolve and another Alp Summit chest piece or something else backpack with Safeguard on it. That's a really great non-raid exclusive, healer build. And then for Foundry Bulwark, I always recommend mixing it with the Emperor's Guard knee pads for that extra 1% armor regen. And maybe 1 or 2 pieces of Bellstone if you can fit it. You know, you always want to go for armor regen with Foundry Bulwark. Next up, we got Overlord at the Pentagon. So of course you can farm for the Fox's pair of knee pads with 8% damage to targets out of cover. Like I always say, I always recommend every agent have at least 1 pair of these. They're great. That damage to targets out of cover is multiplicative damage, which is the best type of damage in this game. And it's great for rifle builds and any other DPS build. Next up, we got holsters over here at Roosevelt Island. You got 3 exotics, the Waveform, and then of course Imperial Dynasty and Dodge City. The Waveform you need to, I think, unlock first at season level 90, otherwise you could just farm for it. And then you could also farm for the Forge holster. That comes with 50% extra shield health, which is worth it because it adds basically an extra skill tier with the shield health to your shield. Next up, we got gear system mods at West Potomac Park. Definitely run that on Heroic and these control points and all these activities. If you want to get some God rolled mods, check that out for sure. Run Legendary Summit. And then we got Bellstone at Constitutional Hall. You could pick up the Everyday Carrier chest piece with Perfectly Efficient, which I never use or really recommend because I haven't used it myself. And always remember that the Liquid Engineer with Perfect Bloodsucker backpack is a Dark Zone exclusive, so it will not drop outside of the Dark Zone except for like named item caches. Next up, we got Providence Defense at Foggy Bottom. You can farm the Sacrifice chest piece with Perfect Glass Cannon. That's going to amplify all damage you deal by 30%, but all damage you get by 60%. And of course, that goes great on any DPS or skill damage build for sure if you're willing to be that squishy. Chest pieces at Potomac Event Center. There's 2 exotics, Tardigrade and Ridgeway's Pride. The Tardigrade you could just straight up farm for. And of course the Ridgeway's Pride you need to complete the project that you get from Summit, or of course you can have a teammate drop it for you. And the last thing I'm really going to recommend is backpacks of Federal Emergency Bunker. You can farm the Memento and the Acosta's Go bag. Those are the 2 exotic backpacks in this game and you could just straight up farm for both of them. And I almost missed it, but there is gloves at the White House. Anyone looking for the BTSU data gloves, you could farm these 2 control points today. Those grant overcharge by canceling your hive or destroying it to you or any ally at skill tier 6. Alright agents, now let's go check out what we got on the east side. Alright agents, east side targeted loot highlights, and of course starting off with gear sets, we got Rigger at Jefferson Plaza. Now I still don't have a build for you. I'm sorry guys, my PC has been, getting upgraded and repaired the past week. So I haven't really been able to get to play, but I do always recommend this because it actually does give you instant cooldowns. It gives you skill damage when you cancel a skill or change targets or anything like that. So definitely check that out. And the chest and backpack are not raid exclusive. Next up, we got a Close Protocol American History Museum today. My favorite fire damage build will be on the top right card now. That's going to be 4 pieces of a Close Protocol, the Imperial Dynasty holster, and 1 piece of Golan gear for that 10% status effects. I always run that with the Stinger Hive, and then of course the Chem Launcher Fire Starter. And then we got Tip of the Spear Grand Washington Hotel. I just skipped that from now on. So for normal targeted loot, we got SMGs at Judiciary Square. You got 3 exotics, Lady Death, Chatterbox, and Backfire. And if you haven't got the Chatterbox yet, I will put a video in the top right card now that shows you how to do that. Otherwise, you could just straight up farm for the other 2 if you have, and 3 if you've gotten the Chatterbox already. And always remember that the Dark Winter and the Apartment are Dark Zone exclusives. You can only get them from the Dark Zones, or named item caches and all the other sorts of unreliable niche ways if you're lucky. What I do recommend though for named SMGs that drop outside of the DZ would be the Safety Distance with Perfect Outsider and the Grudge with Perfect Vindictive. Both of those are definitely worth farming for. Next up, we got LMGs at Jefferson Trade Center, 2 exotics, Bullet King and Pestilence. Both are worth farming for. The Bullet King, you never have to reload, and the Pestilence, you can get that damage tick to over 1 million a tick with that Negotiator's Dilemma build that I mentioned over on the west side. And then of course, the named LMGs will be in the bottom left overlay right now. I recommend the Carnage with Perfect Sadist. It goes great with that ongoing directed bleed damage build. and several others of them, obviously, like the good, new reliable, perfectly optimized. And then we got Badger Tough over here at Southwest. You can farm the 0F's chest piece with Perfect Unbreakable, which is excellent for any DPS hybrid build where you add survivability to the chest, and then add something like Vigilance for damage on the backpack. And then lastly, I really recommend MMRs at E Small. I love these control points that are back to back. There's two exotics, the Mantis and the Nemesis. The Mantis you can straight up farm for. With the Nemesis you need to get Puck's blueprint from Grand Washington Hotel first, and then go to the White House and craft it. Otherwise, just like any other exotic or item, you can just have a teammate share it with you. And then of course the named MMRs that drop outside the Dark Zone I recommend are going to be the Ekim's Long Stick with Perfect Ranger and the White Death. And I would roll Boomerang, Ranger, or Rifleman on the White Death. Alright agents, now let's go check out what we got on the New York City list last. Alright agents, finally we're at New York City Target Loot highlights, and the gear sets we got over here are actually two really good ones. Starting off with Battery Park area, we got True Patriot, so I'll put my favorite SMG True Patriot build in the top right card now. That of course is 4 pieces for a True Patriot. You got the Sokolo chest piece with Intimidate, and the Memento backpack. That thing goes solo, group, heroic, legendary, it just does it all. And then ongoing directive at Liberty Island today, two great bleed damage DPS builds I'll recommend to you guys. The first one is if you have Ridgeway's Pride, you can use that with 4 pieces of ongoing directive and the Anarchist Cookbook with Perfect Wicked. And I always recommend running the Scorpio and the Carnage with Perfect Sadist with these two builds. And then the other one is 4 pieces of ongoing directive, a Badger Tough backpack with Creeping Death Talent on it, and then the Vile Mask. And there's really only a few other things I'd recommend over here today. Got knee pads at Pathway Park, 2 exotic Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads, and then Sawyer's knee pads. Both of those are actually really good. Ninja Bike for run and gun, vaulting and jumping, doing cover to cover. And then the Sawyer's is the opposite. You sit still to gain weapon damage. You could also farm the Fox's Prayer here too as well, but I recommend Overlord. And the last two I'll mention is Mask at the Tomb, so 2 exotics, Coyote's Mask and Vile Mask. Coyote's being for DPS, excellent for all your group allies, and if someone has it, then you're better off just running something else because it works so great just with one person running it with a 4-man group. And then the Vile Mask is great for status effects and skill damage builds. And then lastly, we got assault rifles as Stranded Tanker. You got 3 exotic assault rifles in this game. Eagle Bearer though is tied to the Dark Hours raid, but you can farm for the Chameleon with Adaptive Instincts and the Capacitor with Capacitance talent. But of course you do need to unlock the Capacitor from summit challenges. You need to complete 5 of them. It's actually really easy and you can do it on normal difficulty, and still get a really good roll on your, Capacitor. Otherwise, I recommend the bottom left overlay full of, named ARs. I really like the Burnout named FAMAS, the Mechanical Animal, and the Test Subject with Perfectly in Sync. Those are really great as well. Well agents, that's it for your daily farming guide today. If you enjoyed the video, consider pressing those subscribe and like buttons below, and if not, a thumbs down. If you'd like to become a member for extra support and exclusive perks, you can click the join button below, and thank you so much for all the support for all 4 of my channel members. And always remember to check the video description and pinned comment below for links to support my channel, Shadow Gaming merch, our Discord server, our clan on all platforms. We got spreadsheets for gear and weapons, weekly vendor resets, everything you need to know for the game pretty much. And guys, I'm really sorry I haven't posted lately. I hope you got my, update on the community post. I've been upgrading and repairing my PC and just haven't had access to it for almost a week now. But it's back, I got it all good, so it's running, so thank you guys for being patient. Anyway guys, take care, stay tuned for more now daily dedicated Division 2 content. This is Agent Shadow signing off. I will see you in the next video. Take care agents.